Imagine this. You've been offered the opportunity of a lifetime, a new job, a new city, a new chapter. It's everything you've ever wanted. But suddenly, your mind goes into lockdown. Your heart races. Your brain fills with questions you can't answer. What if I fail? What if I regret it? What if everything goes wrong? It's strange, isn't it? How something we desperately wanted can suddenly feel like a threat. Why does change, which promises so much, also feel so terrifying? Today, we're going to explore that fear, not to judge it, but to understand it. Because behind every moment of hesitation, there's a mind trying to protect us. Welcome to MindShift. In this video, we'll dive into the psychology behind why change scares us, and how to face it with clarity, courage, and maybe even excitement. Let's start with a truth we don't like admitting. We don't fear change itself. We fear the uncertainty that comes with it. The human brain was shaped in a world where unpredictability could literally kill you. Our ancestors survived not because they took every risk, but because they were cautious. That ancient wiring is still in us. So when you're standing on the edge of big change, whether it's quitting a job, ending a relationship, or starting a new path, your brain doesn't congratulate you for being brave. It hits the panic button. And here's why. Our brains love patterns. They crave familiarity. They find comfort in what they can predict, even if the current situation isn't ideal. The unknown? That's dangerous. No map, no rules, no guarantees. So your mind tries to steer you back toward the familiar, whispering, maybe things are fine the way they are. It's not weakness, it's biology. But change is constant. And while the brain resists it, life insists on it. Think about every major shift you've survived. Growing up, falling in love, losing someone, moving, starting over. Each time, it probably felt like the world was shaking underneath you. And yet, here you are, evolving, adapting, becoming more of who you are today. Psychologists say we fear change not because we're incapable, but because we underestimate our ability to adapt. In other words, we don't fear the change, we fear that we won't handle it. Let's get scientific for a moment. When you're faced with uncertainty, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This is the same response you'd have to a physical threat. Your body is preparing for danger, even if the danger is just booking a one-way ticket somewhere new. Your logical brain might say, "It's going to be fine." But your emotional brain is screaming, "Stop! We're all going to die!" One fun fact, when neuroscientists studied people making decisions about major change, they found that the brain responds to uncertainty the same way it responds to physical pain. So in a way, rejecting change can feel like avoiding getting hurt. It's kind of wild. Here's a funny historical moment that shows just how resistant to change humans can be. In the 1800s, when trains were first introduced, people were absolutely terrified. Doctors argued that if you traveled faster than 30 miles per hour, your body would literally fall apart. Newspapers claimed your brain would boil. People thought trees and cows would burst into flames from the speed. But here's the twist. When trains became common, people started complaining they weren't fast enough anymore. Same brain, different century. We fear what's new until it becomes normal. So here's a question. If we're hardwired to resist change, how do some people thrive in it? One answer is reframing. Instead of seeing change as a threat, they see it as a challenge, or even an opportunity. Not everyone does this automatically, but research shows you can train your brain to see change differently. One of the most powerful tools we have is something called cognitive flexibility, the ability to shift our thinking when the world shifts. People with high cognitive flexibility are better at coping with stress, adjusting to new environments, and bouncing back from setbacks. And here's the inspiring part. This flexibility isn't something you're born with and stuck with. It grows when you face change. The very thing you're afraid of is the thing that makes you stronger. Let's ground this with a story. Imagine a woman named Alma. She's worked the same job for 15 years. Every day looks the same. She's good at it. People like her. But deep down, she feels something's missing. One day, her company gets bought out. Her position changes. She's given a choice, relocate or leave. She panics. She cries. She feels like the world is ending. But then something shifts. She realizes she's been numb for years, not growing, not challenged. So she takes a leap. She moves. She starts over. A year later, she writes in her journal, "The scariest thing I ever did was the thing that brought me back to life." Alma's story is common. Change feels like loss at first, but on the other side is often renewal. Here's another insight. We often fear change more in our minds than we do in reality. Our brains love to fill empty spaces with worst-case scenarios. It's called catastrophizing. And the reason we do it is simple. The brain prefers a terrible certainty over a hopeful unknown. But studies show something incredible. When people reflect on the biggest changes in their lives, moving, breaking up, switching careers, over 70% say they don't regret it, even if it was painful at first. It turns out our brains are terrible at predicting how well we will adapt. So the next time your mind says, "This will destroy me," remind yourself, it has zero proof. Let's talk about what helps. First, normalize discomfort. Feeling scared of change is not a red flag. It's a sign your brain is paying attention. Second, take it in pieces. You don't need to jump off the cliff all at once. Sometimes, just getting a little closer to the edge is enough to feel what's possible. Third, remember your track record. You've survived 100% of your toughest days. You adapt, you rebuild, you even thrive. Fourth, if your fear is loud, make curiosity louder. Ask yourself, what if this turns out better than I imagined? But let's be gentle for a moment. Sometimes change doesn't feel exciting or freeing. Sometimes it feels like loss, grief, identity confusion. And that's okay. Feeling lost doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. It means you're in the middle of transformation. The brain needs time to rewrite old patterns. Let it. Healing is change too. Change is never easy, but it is always a teacher. It asks us, who will you become when the structure falls? Who are you when the roles shift? Who are you when the past lets go? Every change has a message for us, not about who we were, but about who we could be. So the next time fear tries to hold you back, pause, breathe, acknowledge it, and take one brave step forward anyway. Because on the other side of fear is the version of you that can only exist once everything changes. Thanks for watching MindShift.